everyone, so if you watched my last vlog video, then you know that I already filmed this Twitter talk, but I couldn't get the footage to import onto my computer, so voila, I am filming it again, but I don't mind because, I don't mind filming it again. I think it's a fun video to film. So these Twitter talks are just basically where I go on Twitter and I say, send me questions. They can be beauty or fashion related, they can be personal, they can just be something that you've always wanted to ask me. It's just kind of one of those moments where if you're ever curious about something, you can ask me during a Twitter talk. And I picked 10 random questions to answer, and then I'm going to type them up in the description bar below this video so that you guys have the questions and you can film a video response. So it's kind of like a tag video for all of us because we're all answering the same questions and getting to know each other and stuff, and I just think it's kind of fun. And yeah, stick around. At the end of the video, I want to kind of not pick at your guys' brains. What's it called? Like rack your brains, or I don't know. I want your help to come up with something to incorporate like YouTube comments and video responses and Facebook and everything into these Twitter talks. But for now, I'm just using Twitter questions because it's called a Twitter talk, so I thought that that kind of made sense. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So the first question is from MN_XO, and it says, would you rather love and never be loved back, or never love but be loved? So I've definitely given this a little bit of thought because when I was in 8th grade, we had to do an essay kind of on this type of topic, and I was definitely for that. I would rather love but never be loved back because love is such an incredible feeling to feel that I don't wish anyone in the entire world, even my greatest enemy, which I don't even know who that would be, but now I'm like really curious to figure out who like my nemesis is. But even like my biggest enemy, I would never wish for them not to feel love in their life. Love for your family and your friends or your significant other or your animals, like whatever it's love for, just that feeling of knowing that everything's better when they're around and your life is better with them in it. That feeling and knowing that you would give your own life to save theirs, I feel like that's like the really strong bond that you can't fake that. It's not friendship, it's definitely love, and I think that it's beautiful, and I hope that nobody has to go through life not feeling love, but I would definitely rather love and not be loved back than to be loved by everyone but like never love anyone. I don't know, I feel like that would be kind of a very sad life. Okay, next is MissBellaNicole said, when did you get your first kiss? So I had my first, I guess you would say, like real boyfriend in 8th grade, because before that, when we had boyfriends, it was just like, oh, our parents will drive us to the movies and we'll like maybe hold hands under the seats and like we'll get a box of popcorn or a bag of popcorn and then we'll both like reach in at the same time and accidentally touch hands, and it's like so embarrassing, but you know, you giggle. I don't know, did anyone else do that, or are you just watching your screen like, say what? Yeah, so I had my first like real boyfriend, I guess, in 8th grade, and I remember my first kiss with him was, we were at, there was this place that you like, grades 6th to 8th grade in our town would go. That's all it was open for, and it was kind of like a dance club, but it was like very like safe, and there was like a movie theater in there and a concession stand and an arcade and a dance floor, and but there were like chaperones everywhere, so it wasn't like a crazy like club for like 12-year-olds or anything. But we were there and we were in the movie theater room, and one of our friends was like, Blair's never been kissed before, and I was like, yes I have, because I didn't want to admit it to like my boyfriend, and he was like, you haven't? He was like, well guess what? And I was like, what? And he was like, I've never kissed anyone either, and I like got really shy, and then he just like kissed me really fast, and then it was over, and that's my first kiss. That's how I got my first kiss, and I still remember it just because it's kind of a little bit of a monumental moment in my life because I didn't think it was going to happen that night, and he just kind of, he did it, and it was really fast, and we were so scared the chaperone was going to see it that it honestly lasted maybe half a second. Like, I don't even know if I had time to like pucker my lips. He just like kissed me like on the face really fast. So yeah. The next one is by NancyDrew17, and it says, if you could date any celebrity, who would it be and why? So I actually am so in love with my boyfriend Sawyer that I can't imagine wanting to date anybody else like in the whole wide world. I don't feel like celebrities, just because they have a job that makes them a little bit more in the public eye, I don't feel like it makes them any different than us. So saying who would I rather date as a celebrity, I feel like that's almost just saying like, who would you date if you could date anyone in the world? And my answer would be just Sawyer, you know, like I'm really happy with him. And yeah, sorry, I'm not trying to get mushy on you guys. Anyways, BlueJeans104 says, what's your definition of happiness? My definition of happiness, there's there's two sides to this. I can go really, really deep and say my definition of happiness is my family and the people that I love and just like being around my little sister and my mom and my dad, which obviously that makes me so happy. My dad came to town the other weekend and he's not been to LA very many times. I think 2 times since we lived here in LA, and he came out just for the weekend, spur of the moment, crazy. He just like got on a plane and said, I'm coming to visit you girls, because I had been asking him. I was like, Dad, I miss you, like come out to LA. So he came out here and like we went to the tar pits and like just went to a lot of different museums and stuff, and just walking around, like I've got to be honest, I'm not that crazy about the tar pits. Like mammals and like mammoths and whatever, they got like stuck in tar billions of years ago, and now we like go to museums and we pay money to just walk around and look at them. Like I did that enough in school, but my dad thinks it's so fascinating that I had so much fun being there with him because he was so interested in every single thing. You know how at museums they have like one structure, one like thing, and then they have a bunch of like writing around it? Did you guys ever read that writing? Because I didn't. Like I never knew what those little plaques said, but it like explains what it is and all that. My dad read every single word in the entire museum. I kid you not. He was so fascinated, and then he would point out like every little detail that was on the plaque. He would like point to me, and it was fun. It was definitely, I don't know, I was having a good time. Even though I'm not crazy about museums, I was definitely having a really good time just being there with him and seeing how happy it makes him. That makes me happy. But at the same time, YouTube has made me so happy that that's kind of my selfish version of happiness, because I have my version of happiness where when other people feel happy, it makes me happy, but my selfish version of happiness is you guys on YouTube. Because I started YouTube videos, I was just in my bedroom filming makeup tutorials, and I had no expectations that anyone would even see it. And I still remember when I got 10 subscribers and 100 subscribers and then 1,000 subscribers, and I just kept thinking every morning, I was like, I'm gonna wake up and I'm never gonna get another subscriber, but even though I have 1,000 right now, that's all I ever need. Like 1,000 people watching my videos, like holy moly, I could not imagine it. I was just a sophomore in high school. I like didn't know, you know, anything about, I didn't think that this could become any sort of future for me. And just knowing that if I'm ever having a bad day, I can just turn on my camera and talk to you guys and be like, what do I do? And ask you for advice, and that you guys are gonna be there for me. That's better than having a billion friends in the real world that may not be as nice, because you guys are so nice to me. So I just want to thank you guys and let you know that I always kind of, in the back of my mind, I feel like I can lean on you guys and that you guys are going to be there for me, and I know you will. And I just want to thank you, because that's definitely a definition of happiness for me, knowing that you guys are going to be there for me. So the next question is Tanya the One. Have you ever Googled yourself? Be honest. Of course I've Googled myself. Who has not Googled themselves in the entire world? Like no one probably. I mean, if you have a computer or access to a computer, you have probably Googled yourself. So before I started doing YouTube videos, nothing really ever came up when I would Google myself. But then once I started doing videos, like just the videos would come up. And then after a while, there started to be some sites that were like, hey, check out this video by this girl. And then they'd put that up. And then once I got a little bit bigger, there started being some negative sites that were popping up. And at first it devastated me. I'm gonna be honest, you guys. I've never really talked about this in a video because there's the whole like, don't draw attention to it and don't let them know it gets to you and all that stuff. And sometimes I'll go on there and I'll read like, oh, she reads this blog. Yeah, I read that blog. It comes up when I Google myself. Of course I read it. And I don't feel like it's haters that are doing it at all. I really don't think that the haters are the ones making these sites. I really honestly just think that it's people that have strong opinions that may not be in my favor, but it's still their opinion. And who am I to say what their opinion should be? You know what I mean? So I definitely Google myself. I've seen everything out there is to say about me. The only thing I will say is that sometimes it's really funny when they're positive that they've like cracked the case and they can prove I'm lying about something, and it's so far from the truth that I just kind of sit there and giggle. So sometimes if I'm having a rough day, that makes me feel better. But then there are times where you guys are completely right. Like maybe I haven't talked about something in a video, but you guys figure it out like undercover. I don't even know how you guys do it. It sometimes scares me. But yeah, you're totally right. I mean, you know, some things are just obvious. So, yeah, I think you guys know what I'm talking about. But anyways, Jamie Kate 117 says, what's your favorite kind of soup on a cold day? So my favorite kind of soup on a cold day is from Panera. It's called broccoli cheese soup, and I get it in a sourdough bread bowl. And it's so delicious. And my cafeteria in high school used to have broccoli cheese soup, and like Quiznos and Subway now has broccoli cheese soup. It's nothing compared to Panera. Like nada, like zilch. Like I cannot even eat it because all I'm thinking about the whole time is how good would this be if it was Panera. But if I'm going to make my own soup on a cold day, I'll just make Campbell's tomato soup, and I make it with a can of milk instead of a can of water, because that's how my mom made it growing up, and it makes it a little bit more creamy. And then I eat it with okay, I have a recipe for, grilled cheese croutons that you put on top of a tomato soup. Like, how delicious does that sound? So sometimes if I'm feeling like chef worthy and I want to actually spend time like making something, I'll do grilled cheese croutons with it, or just grilled cheese. Sometimes I'll just sprinkle cheese on top of it and just eat it with like Ritz crackers and stuff, but I love that soup. Next question is from Jocelyn C13, and it says, if you could switch places with any celebrity for a day, who would it be and why? So I've definitely been going back and forth between this, and I'm like, who would it be? And I've known my answer kind of all along, but I'm scared that when I say it, you guys are gonna think I'm saying it just because she's dating Justin Bieber, which I actually don't have a crush on Justin Bieber, which I do. I think he's incredibly talented. I think he's very cute, but I don't know. I feel like I want to say Selena Gomez just because she is an incredible actress and musician, and she's doing so many things. She does so much charity work, and she has so much going on that I don't know how the girl lives a single day juggling that much work. So I would honestly just want to do it for the experience of seeing what her life is like for a day. I want to see, you know, how early she wakes up, how late she goes to bed. I want to see, you know, how many different projects she's working on in a day. And, you know, everybody has their days off. I'm sure she takes, you know, vacations where she doesn't do any sort of work, which is something that you would have to do to stay sane in that type of lifestyle. But I would want to be her on a day where she has like so much stuff going on, and I don't know, I just think that she's definitely a role model for young girls, and I would like to see kind of what that entails and what her life is like. So yeah. Okay, Mac Queen 091 says, what was your very first pet name? So when I was born, my mom, my dad, and my sister Elle, they had two pets. One of them was Socks, who was a little dachshund. It was my mom's dog. And then they adopted Jessie, who was a basset hound. And I only have a few flashbacks of each of the dogs because they, you know, they passed away. My parents had them for a long time before they had me. So they passed away sooner than I guess I would have liked to. I have more memories of Jessie, the basset hound, than I do of Socks, because Socks just lived with my mom. Like, I'm talking like, if my mom walked to the kitchen, Socks was in the kitchen. If she walked to the, you know, living room, Socks was in the living room. When she sat down at the table, like, Socks was in her lap. Like, Socks was always next to my mom, and that's all I really remember about Socks, that if I was ever like looking for him, he'd be wherever my mom was. But Jessie was really sweet, and I mean, he must have not passed away until I was maybe like 4 or 5, because I have quite a few memories of Jessie, but I moved to New Orleans when I was 5 years old, and Jessie did not make the move to New Orleans, so that means he must have passed away before then. But I do have some memories of playing with Jessie. Maybe Jessie was a girl. I'm not even sure what gender Jessie was, but he, she, it slobbered a lot and had really floppy long ears and like was just really cute. And I remember that like it's a dog that would play fetch. Since then I don't think we've had a single dog that'll play fetch. My dogs, you know, I have Rue, which he is 90% blind. I love him to pieces, but he can't really play fetch because he can't really see the things you're throwing. And then Teddy is so small that he can't pick anything up. I'd have to play fetch with like a grape and then he'd just eat it. So yeah, I remember that Jessie used to play fetch, and I was so little I don't even know how I like threw things across the room, but I know that he would like bring them back to me. Okay, youMEGANmecrazy, which I think is one of the most clever Twitter names that I'm absolutely obsessed with. And if your name was Megan, I would probably, if my name was Megan, I would probably be really jealous if somebody already had youMEGANmecrazy. So Megan said, what's your favorite restaurant? I have quite a few favorite, oh, I thought that was the last question. It's not, we have one more. I have quite a few restaurants. My favorite restaurant in Destin, Florida is Mitchell's Fish Market. They have a garlic shrimp pasta that has like a lot of Tabasco sauce in it, and it's just so amazing. I also love the melting pot. I love fondue. It comes with like cheese first, and then you get a salad, and then you get broth, and you like cook the meat at your table, and then you get like a chocolate fondue with like strawberries and pound cake and Rice Krispie treats and all this sort of stuff that you dip in it. And it's kind of one of those adventures. And then my favorite just like typical, I guess, restaurant would be Chili's. We don't have one very close to where I live in LA now. It's like, I think the closest one is like 45 minutes away or something. But back when I lived in Tennessee, that was one of the only restaurants we had around. So I was there literally, I feel like once a week I was eating at Chili's, and I'm obsessed. That's what I think is yummy. All right, and then the last one is Miss May 90 says, Miss May 95 said, what's the best thing that's ever happened to you? And this is another one of those, oh my goodness, questions, because I can go in the sense that the best thing that ever happened to me is the family that I was born into. I'm very, very, very thankful that I was, and I know that, you know, it's nothing that you choose. You can't choose which family you were born into, but I definitely recognize how fortunate I am to be born into the family I was in. You know, everyone in my family is so close and tight-knit, and I had friends growing up that it wasn't exactly like that, and I don't know what I would have done if my family wasn't as close as we are, and it's just something that I feel like that's like the best thing that ever happened to me is being born into the family I was born into. The second best thing that ever happened to me is starting my YouTube videos, because it was on such a whim. It was like the middle of the night when I did my first video, and it was just something that I didn't think that it would be something that would come this far, and I just love what I've gotten out of it. You know, I have so many friends that I've met through YouTube. You know, we just had a dinner party at Sawyer's, and we had 20 people there, and I think only 2 of them weren't YouTubers. So most of my close friends do YouTube videos too, and it's cool because we have something in common. We have something that we can talk about. We have something that, you know, we all kind of go through together. We all understand YouTube and the ups and the downs that it has with it, and mostly ups. But of course, like I said in the Googled Yourself question, there are some times where some people are just really vocal about their opinions, and sometimes their opinions aren't positive about you, and it's hard to hear, you know? If I'm on Twitter and I read 15 "you're ugly" tweets in a row, what am I supposed to do other than believe that, oh, 15 people said it, I must be ugly? You know, it's that kind of thing. And since I've started, you know, getting a lot of that, those type of like tweets and comments sent to me and stuff, I'm just used to it, and it just kind of like goes over my head. But at the beginning, it definitely gave me a little bit of a self-confidence, like lowering or whatever. It was hard for me to find it again. But yeah, that is the things that make me, or that's the best things in the world. I was gonna say the things that make me happiest. I feel like I gave the same answer for those, but it is being born into the family I was born into, and being lucky enough to have the family I have, and then doing YouTube videos. That's the greatest thing that happened to me. So yeah, that is my answers, and this is actually a really long video, but really fast. I just want to ask you guys, I want to do a video that is like Twitter questions, Facebook questions, YouTube comment questions, YouTube video responses. I can plug your video response where you ask a question into it. So go ahead and send those questions if you do a video response or anything to this video. But I want to start doing not just Twitter talks. I want to do like maybe a weekly or a bi-weekly video, but I need your help to come up with what the name of it should be. So yeah, I know a lot of people have like Ask Sawyer's, Ask Shane, and Shout Out Sunday is Brittany Louise Taylor's and stuff, but just kind of something like that. I want like a fun name for that. So yeah, I guess that is this video. If you guys want to film a video response, the questions are in the description box below. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will talk to you later. Bye.